Overcoming Strife. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Win Blue Talk. It's Viv here. Today, the voice is cracking, right? How does one overcome strife? Hey, I love to hear from you as well. How do we overcome this monster? This monster is affecting all of us, and we need to do something positive to change it. I love to hear as well from you. I have a few pointers that I'll share, and I hope it'll bless somebody because it blessed me. The first point of overcoming this monster of strife: control your mouth. What comes out? If we control what comes out of our mouth, we'll control 80% of the strife will cause around. I put the next 20% to what somebody would say or do. That doesn't count. You can shift and let it flow by and go this way. So that should not bother you. That should not be an issue. But if we control what comes out of our mouth, the manual of life I read says spring water and salty water cannot come out from the same mouth. Blessings and curses cannot come out from the same mouth. So you're either cursing or you're either blessing. You choose. I choose to bless with this mouth. The next area, okay, the next point that you need to work on for us to overcome it is an area that I say we'll continue working on it until God takes us home. Crucify the flesh. The flesh, yes, the flesh crucified. We are so controlled by our emotions. We are so controlled by how I feel, what I want, who wants. We've been there where you thought, I can only, when I feel this way, I talk this way. What I want is what I get. Who are you to talk to me like that? Who are you to act such and such a way towards me? you know who are all those are emotional driven. There are certain things that if you don't crucify it, people can make you react and regret afterwards, but the action has been done. you know but the beautiful thing is in that you also learn who you are. An incident here happened to me a few years. I was pushed to acting out of character. It's never my character to get in tantrums or in anger. And I was pushed to do that. Yeah, I regretted it afterwards. But in the process, the Lord opened my eyes and spoke to me and showed me the people around me and their hearts towards me and their behavior. And I thought, wow, I'd never seen it that way. So I was very grateful to God for using that situation, even though it was a bad situation, even though I don't think I'll ever repeat it as long as I live. But it showed me whose people, whose hearts people have towards me. And it blessed me. And I still love them to bits anyway. Because there is always, the third point is there is always a spirit behind every word we speak. The world we live in was created by words, right? That's what the manual of life tells all of us. God created the world by his word. It says, and God said, if just one word of what God said is wrong, the world can self-destruct. That's how powerful our words are. So we need to be careful. The words we're using towards people, the words we're meditating on, what is coming out of our mouth. And that's why it's something we can control. That comes with your character, that comes with practice, practice, and more practice to make sure that what comes out is good. I know I've had a few conversations with people where they've said, what about the comedians who say, the comedians, they take it, that's your trouble. You, worry about you. Stop worrying about somebody else. When your light shines, the light will brighten everybody. The next area that I think we all need to work is humbleness, putting somebody else before you. When we practice to put God first, when we practice to put the Lord first, that practice, it becomes easier for you to put somebody else first. It doesn't matter, you know. But the problem we have is our ego and our pride will not allow us to do that. You need to walk past that problem of your ego and pride. And how does it come in with the ego and pride? Somebody who's full of themselves, constantly judging other people, constantly having an opinion about somebody else, telling you how they have done it wrong, why they should do it that way, why they shouldn't do it that way. Constantly hearing stories from one area and taking it to another. I put it under gossip. Constantly talking bad. It's never a good thing. They never tell good about you. They constantly repeating bad from one point to another. They have an opinion how every other person should live. Not them. They don't see themselves. And to me, it's funny because I say, the Bible says, iron sharpens iron, right? You can only see, you can only give people what you have. If you're only constantly seeing the bad in people, check yourself. You're seeing a reflection of you. If you're a bad person, it is impossible to see the good in somebody. Absolutely impossible. If you're a good person, yeah, you may see the bad in people, but you will not allow that dwell on. You will try to look for the good in everybody. I'll tell you a little story. When my kids were very young, one day I turned around and I asked the elder one, I said, baby, tell me 5 good things that you love about your brother. Of course, when I asked the question, the other people started now thinking about the 5 things that they love of one another, right? And he said, mommy, I said, yeah, 5, just 5. Why you love your brother? He says, oh, mommy, okay, let me think. That's the problem right there. We live in a dark world. That what we see about people are bad. And I turned around and I told him, I said, if I said, name 5 things that you hate about your brother, the diarrhea would have come flying. You would have told me this and that and that and that, because that's all you see. Sometimes we need to walk past, dig deep, walk past and bring out the light out of people. We live in a dark world, and so the first thing that hits you about people is darkness. But we can, since we are the light, and for us to overcome that, for us to actually be humble, the manner of life says, God says, I love humble people because He would raise you up. Sometimes for God to raise you up, you need to fall. And fall is being humble, submissive, that He can elevate you. And that is typical walking in love. Yes, things may have happened that you were right. The manner of life doesn't say, blessed are those who are right. It says, blessed are the peacemakers. Be a peacemaker, not always wanting to have your way, not always wanting to have the last word, not always thinking you're right. Most of the times, people react like that and just bring dysfunction in the whole family, in the work environment, causing bitterness around, making people walk in bitterness, making people angry, making people live in fear. And all those are spirits that we attract in our lives, you know. So for us to overcome it, walk in love. It doesn't matter. Walk in love. Whatever somebody does, walk in love. You know, Satan can use you to bring somebody else down. Satan needs you. So he brings strife for us to fight one another. The manner of life says, for we don't fight flesh and blood. We fight principalities. We fight powers. We fight spiritual wickedness in high places. It goes to tell you, you are a light. You are the salt of the earth. Get somewhere. Become that salt, that seasoning somebody's looking. That solution somebody wants. Go somewhere, become that light to darken, to remove all the darkness around. You know, the beautiful thing is, if you're a light, darkness can never overcome you. Once you get there, darkness must flee because of who you are and whose you are. For us to achieve that, my brothers and sisters, we need to dig really deep, very, very deep, and be a blessing, not only to ourselves, to the next generation behind us. Join me as we dig Very deep. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Love you guys.
With us, check our website, follow us on social media, and do not forget to like and subscribe.